A lot of people struggle with putting on size when they train with calisthenics. This is simply because of a lack of effective programming in their training. In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys the 5 best calisthenics training techniques to make getting swole as cruisy as possible. Now keep in mind, all these techniques I'm about to list are much better used for people who'd consider themselves intermediate practitioners in calisthenics. People that can do at least 30 to 40 push-ups and 10 to 20 pull-ups. If you're a beginner, I would highly advise purely focusing on straight sets until you have the adequate strength to even consider these advanced techniques. With that being said, let's hop into the first technique. Number 1 are traditional down sets. If you don't know what a down set is, it's essentially when you drop down the intensity or load of a set to help us stay within a specific rep range. For example, on a bench press, if we were working with our top set within an 8 to 12 rep range and we managed to hit 8 reps in that set, on our next set we would decrease the load to stay within that rep target. Now down sets are normally done under normal conditions in the gym obviously, but there is a workaround with calisthenics based exercises. This is entirely assuming you are strong enough and have the capacity to do weighted calisthenics. If you don't, the other alternative would be to drop to an easier variation of the exercise you're doing, but this would be considered a superset. However, under the conditions that you have access to weight plates and the calisthenic strength to push more weight, this would be ideal. This is how you would do it. Take a weighted dip for example. We will start with our top set of, let's say, 40 kilos to hit 6 to 10 reps. In our second and eventually third sets, we may decrease the weight appropriately to stay within 6 to 10 reps. For some, this may mean dropping the weight by about 5 to 10 kilos per set. This can be done both for exercises like push-ups and pull-ups, but again, are under the conditions that you have the strength to do weighted calisthenics with clean form. Moving on to number 2, we have good old supersets. To those uninformed, the proper definition of supersets with both calisthenics and weightlifting are when we do multiple exercises back to back, whether that means supersetting up to a total of 3 or even 4 exercises. When it comes to effective programming with calisthenics, many people suggest doing supersets with exercises that work antagonistically, but this all depends on your workout split. For those that do upper and lower splits, this would be optimal, but for someone following a push-pull leg split, I found supersetting with the same muscle group to be equally stimulating. If done this way, think of it as a burner set. Supersets easily make calisthenics training fun. Don't get too absorbed or concerned with hitting specific rep targets in your superset. With all these training techniques, we're basically implementing methods to induce fatigue and failure, much more than normal straight sets. Not to say that straight sets aren't as effective, but the general premise of using these techniques is because a lot of people who train calisthenics have no idea what true muscular failure looks like, and getting close to failure directly links to a much more effective workout. Now when doing supersets with calisthenics, always ensure you're not compromising form in order to hit reps. And I'd also recommend starting with the most difficult exercise in that superset. So instead of doing normal bodyweight push-ups and then supersetting into weighted decline push-ups, obviously switch them around and you'll set yourself up for the most effective training program. On a quick side note, if you're enjoying this video thus far, don't forget to like the video as this helps out so much. Getting into number 3 are Myo Rep Sets. Myo Rep Sets are extremely underutilized in calisthenics training if your main goal is to build muscle. Simply put, not enough people do this. But firstly, let's break down what it is. Traditionally, a Myo Rep Set involves several mini sets with the sole focus of taking each mini set to failure. When done practically, let's say I was doing weighted pull-ups with the target rep range of 6 to 10. In that set, I will take myself to technical failure, or in other words until my form breaks down, and then rest pause for about 3 to 8 seconds to hit failure again. In most cases, this may mean hitting another 3 to 5 reps and then stopping and doing so again to a total up to 3 or sometimes even 5. Depending on your level of strength and technique discipline, I'd recommend to do this only once when starting out. Many people will do this with a complete disregard of form and will mainly try to get their chin to the bar. Don't be that guy. If anything, use lifting straps or chalk to engage a stronger connection to the bar to promote clean form throughout each mini set. Of course, there is much more leeway with push exercises like straight bar dips. In this situation, we'd only have to focus on getting our chest to touch the bar, getting to failure, and then rest pausing. But with vertical pulling exercises, be a bit more mindful with your form and muscle-mind connection. Moving on to number 4 are Myo Rep Match Sets, notably invented by the genius Dr. Mike. So let's break down the Myo Rep Match Set in calisthenics term. Let's say I was doing a set of weighted straight bar dips. I would do my first set normally as if it were a straight set and aim to reach as many reps as possible. Let's say I was working with an additional 10 kilos on the straight bar dip and then I hit 15 reps. For the next 2 sets are where the Myo mini sets come in. Since I hit 15 reps in that first set, in the second and third sets I will continue to aim to hit 15 reps in each again. I will rest pause through those 2 sets as much as I need until I ultimately hit 15 again. As fatigue starts to creep in, it it may take 2 or more mini sets to hit the same amount of reps. As I approach the second set, I may only be able to hit 12 reps, but I will rest pause 3 to 8 seconds until I reach the rep goal. Now to quote Dr. Mike, do not go crazy with this type of technique. On compounds like weighted dips or even pull-ups, you might absolutely blast your muscles because this technique is so volume inducing. I'd also recommend only doing this type of technique with one main compound in your workout, just so you don't completely incapacitate yourself leading up to the next training day. When this technique is done with weighted dips or even an advanced pull-up variation like typewriters, trust me, your rear delts and lats are not going to want to go at it again. Approach this technique like a nuclear bomb. If you touch it, you will blow up, in a good and bad way. The next training technique at number 5 are marathon sets, or in other words, giant sets. To do a marathon set, you will set a rep goal just as you would in a Myo Rep set. Keep in mind the rep goal in a marathon set is quite high. We're talking within the range of 30 to 50 and above. The focus of a marathon set is perfect form and absolute focus on mind-muscle connection. I'd highly recommend doing this technique if you struggle with feeling your chest in push-ups or lats in pull-ups. With this training modality, completely scratch the idea of reaching failure. You're able to stop whenever you like as you push for your rep goal. However, in each mini set, so to speak, you will purely focus on engaging the muscles you're trying to work without having that fatiguing idea of having to reach failure. The total volume in a marathon set will challenge you. For exercises like a pull-up, this gives you plenty of stimulus and time to focus on executing complete clean form while using your lats to be the main driver in the exercise. With this technique, you may not want to load up with weight that will keep you below 20 reps on your first initial push. Doing this completely bodyweight is okay, or even with bands for assistance on pull-ups. Now for the last training technique in number 6 are plain old drop sets. As I mentioned at the start of this video, drop sets are better done when you're doing weighted calisthenics, but drop setting into an easier progression of an exercise can also work. When this is done practically with pull-ups with no external resistance, you should start with a pull-up progression harder than standard pull-ups, like a typewriter, and then drop down to normal pull-ups to finish off. To do drop sets optimally, you want to make sure you aren't reserving yourself for the next planned drop or exercise. Completely focus on fatiguing or reaching close to failure on the first straight set, and then drop down with the same goal to die. When done properly, you will find yourself barely being able to perform no more than 5 to 8 reps in the drop set. Too often, people will continually drop with a high rep goal in mind, which actually hinders their ability to actually push themselves. When people do this, they save strength because they know how difficult it will be to hit high reps. Training metabolically is much more difficult purely because of the need of mental strength in the equation. So when dropping, do so with about 5 to 10 kilos from your first initial set. And when dropping to an easier variation, select an exercise that will still challenge you but still can be done with clean form at all times. As you can see, there's probably a lot of gains you're leaving on the table by not using these techniques. This is what I like to call advanced calisthenics training. With that being said, hit that subscribe button if you're new, along with the notification bell, so you instantly get updated when I post more valuable content for you guys. If you guys are interested in following a completely free training program with these techniques involved, consider joining my free private Discord, which features currently 28+ programs, exclusive guides and hacks which feature both calisthenics and weightlifting. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.